Hello, welcome to Lemon Series, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for The Wolfman. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Shall I am to leave a like, comment below, and let me know your thoughts on The Wolfman, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, The Wolfman, it is directed by Leigh Whannell, one of my favorite creators working today, whether it be writing or directing. He's done Saw, he's done Insidious, he's done Upgrade, that was his directorial debut. The Invisible Man, to me, is one of the best horror movies of the 2020s in general. I still get scared watching it, the way he uses the atmosphere. He does carry that over into this film as well. So I was really looking forward to this movie because of him alone, but also due to two others as well. We've had this resurgence of when it comes to these Universal monsters. You know, we had the attempt with the Dark Universe. We're going to start with The Mummy with Tom Cruise. You know, we're going to have Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man. We're going to have Russell Crowe in there as well. And it just didn't work out. And then we went another direction. We had the Invisible Man that Leigh Whannell did that was so great. And then we had a bunch of these Dracula-adjacent movies. You know, The Invitation, which was a pretty decent movie by all things considered. We had The Voyage of the Demeter, Nosferatu, which I know is not Dracula at all. Well, you know, it's basically ripping off the movie, but, you know, it's still, you know, one of the best movies of 2024. To me, it was the best movie of 2024. So all of that was going along with it. I mean, hell, we're getting two Frankenstein movies in 2025. So that was another exciting part within this, is that this resurgence of the Universal monster movies, which I am all for, because I love the Universal monster movies. And also because January is no longer, you know, what people consider the dumping ground. To me, it's still very much the pre-season of the movie industry where, you know, hey, all these little type of small movies where we don't really know where the market is at, we're going to dump it in January. And, you know, ever since 2020, we've had a bunch of good ones. I have yet to see Den of Thieves, but I've heard nothing but good things when it comes to that movie. I haven't heard too much criticism when it comes to it. Looking forward to next week as well with Presence and Flight Risk. It's just a bunch of these movies where, like, hey, if you put them in a March or an April, they're probably going to fall through the cracks. But January is like the perfect ground. Was like, hey, not a lot of competition. We're just here to have a good time. And I would say for this movie, even with the subject matter that it's dealing with, it is a good time. It is a lot of fun. And that is due a lot to the direction of Leigh Whannell. Because one thing that he establishes from the get-go with this amazing prologue, with our main character Blake as a young child with his dad. And it's a really good prologue scene where they really establish the atmosphere. And that sound is one of the most important characters within this film. I mean, you really get a sense that you're in the woods. You can hear the twigs, you can hear the animals walking on the twigs. You can, again, you just really feel like you're in the woods. You can hear the wind, the water clashing, all of that. It's really, really good atmospheric, especially when it gets silent and there's no music whatsoever. There's this great use of them using the scope on the gun as they are hunting. That, again, just causes so much tension, and, you know, it just makes me raise my back up. And I'm just like, just going to be a jump scare. Let me cover my ears, because the speakers in my theater, I think, were blown out with everything that was going on. But it was a great, great prologue, and he continues that on with his direction throughout the whole entire film. And it's also the performances as well. You know, we only really followed three people the whole time. His dad has a part in it in the beginning within that prologue, but then after that, we really just follow Blake as he's grown up, and he has a wife and he has a daughter. His wife's name is Charlotte. I don't remember his daughter's name in the film, but, you know, they have a good family dynamic. They establish a lot of things. This movie has a lot of ideas that they are presenting up front after the prologue. And as I said in my immediate reaction on TikTok, and I still feel that after sitting on it for a little bit, I've never watched a movie where I feel like it needed more time to really execute all of its ideas properly. Because they do present a lot within the beginning. Hey, this is a couple that is a little bit on the rough patch. They still love each other, but hey, you know, they're fighting a lot, they're clashing a lot. I mean, they're arguing in front of their kid. It's a bunch of different things. And, you know, like, hey, let's just go out to the woods, come with me, because, you know, Blake doesn't really have a relationship with his father, and then he has to go to the woods. And hey, come with me, let's just get away, let's go to this cabin and just have a nice family time, just to reconnect, because his wife is also just constantly working. They establish that, you know, he is closer to their daughter than she is to her, that he is truly the glue that holds the family together. And again, all of these ideas that they're really presenting, I was all for to really see in true fruition. But once they get to the farm and the wolf stuff starts to happen, and again, a lot of great ideas, and Leigh Whannell's direction is really, really good. They have a lot of ideas, like as Blake is going through the transformation of becoming the Wolfman, which is really good with a lot of ideas. I like how long it's taking for it to go through, because it really does take the duration of the whole entire film, where, you know, he's starting to not understand them, you know, like how dogs do with us, what he's seeing, what he's hearing, what he is smelling, all of that. Like the whole transformation stuff is really, really cool to see. But I do feel like all the stuff that they presented in the beginning, where I was very curious to see what would be executed, does get put on the back burner quite a bit, and that is due to the runtime. This movie is about an hour and 50 minutes long, which is why I said in my immediate reaction, I was like, I think this one could have gone, you know, maybe 210. I think we could have added another 20 minutes just to have all these things be more executed, or just feel a little bit more too, because I also say in my immediate reaction as well, as like, again, I've never seen a movie before where I feel like it needed more time, but yet it also overstays its welcome, because it does feel like it is going to slot in on one of the issues that I presented with you within this review. You know, again, couple on the ropes. Father is the glue of the family. Mother is not as close to the daughter. All those things. But it really feels like this movie is cluing in, zooming in, and focusing in on just one of those issues that I presented. And when it does that, and then we get to what I thought was the end, I was like, okay, you know what? For what it was and where it was placed, this was still a good ride. And then the movie keeps going. Because I'm telling you, like, it feels like, hey, we crescendoed, we finished up. Okay, yep, some of the things got left on the cutting room floor, but hey, that's the beast of business. I put my chair up. I was getting ready to, you know, gather my stuff to get ready to go, and then we are going for another 15, just so that we can execute everything that was presented within this film. Because again, they do hit everything, but once you get to that extra 15 minutes, and you do feel it. You do feel where you're just like, ooh, okay, I was kind of ready to go. And as the movie was progressing and it's starting to hit those things, it just did not present enough to me for me to really, you know, feel it for the most part. Like when it got to the end, I was like, okay, I see what they were trying to do. But again, if we had more time within that before 15 minutes to really examine that a little more, have a little more meat on the bone, I feel like I wouldn't have minded as much, because, you know, the whole final shot too, the final frame, the final setup, everything, it really brings everything full circle from the beginning to the end. And again, I just didn't feel it as much as I would have liked to. And I was actually having a conversation with a friend today before I was about to record it. And, you know, he was like, well, if this movie was on streaming, would you be as hard on it? And I had to, you know, take those words into consideration. I'm like, yeah, you know what? If it was, since I was in the theater, and I still did not mind paying the money to go see it, not mind paying primetime price to say it. So that $10 to $15 for the ticket for a 7 p.m. showing, didn't mind it. I still had a good time while watching it. But as the movie progresses, and again, all these ideas that are really, really interesting that I did want to see to fruition, especially with the talent that they had on front of the camera, I did feel a little empty when the movie ended, because again, some of these ideas, the one that they did zoom in on, I was like, okay, I'm satisfied with, but it's not the main final verdict of the film. We have the other two that we still need to go through as the movie's progressing. And when it gets to that point, I'm just like, well, all right, that was fun. I had a good time, but, you know, again, it's not a movie that, you know, is going to make my top 10 list by any means. But did I hate going to the theater to go see it? No. Do I think you'll hate it if you're going to the theater to see it? No. I think this is a movie where, you know, if you planned on going to the theater to go see it, I think you're going to enjoy it. If you didn't plan on seeing it in the theater and you're going to wait on streaming, I would go, yeah, go ahead and wait for streaming to watch this film. If you did not plan to watch it at all, I was like, you know what? This is where the difference is. Usually with these types of movies, I'm like, look, if you never planned on going to see it, I would say don't go see it. If you didn't plan on going to see it, I would say give it a shot. Go see a $5 Tuesday, or, you know, at matinee price. Give it a shot. I think it'll be a good time. Or if you want to wait for streaming, wait for streaming, but yeah, give the movie a chance. But wherever you feel more comfortable watching the movie, that's where you should watch it. If I had to rank it on the lemon scale, I would say, you know, sour lemon at the bottom, expired store-bought lemonade, then store-bought lemonade that's not expired is right there. Lemonade in the middle, freshly squeezed lemonade, and strawberry lemonade at the very top because that is the best kind of lemonade. I would say Wolfman to me is a store-bought lemonade. Again, still very positive. Like all the things that we're doing, the talent in front of the camera, the talent behind the camera. I mean, Leigh Whannell is really put on a masterclass within the direction. I mean, hell, there was another director within this film. I don't know if this movie's perceived as well. And I also would really like to read the script of this film as well, just to see what did get put on the cutting room floor, to see all these storylines really fleshed out all the way through. Because I can see a lot of directions where Leigh Whannell's probably like, okay, yeah, let's just cut this out. The people don't want to stay there for too long. An hour 50 is going to be fine, but I do think 2 hours and 20 could have really saved all of the storylines within it, and again still feels very satisfying on all fronts, as opposed to just the steak that they really focus in on for the first hour and 25 or 35 minutes of the film. But yeah, overall, still a good time. Again, I did not hate going to see it. I don't think you will either. So head to the theater to go see The Wolfman. Really looking forward to this year of 2025 with all this content that are heading this way. So hit that subscribe button, as we will be covering as much as we can here on the channel. If you're into wrestling, hit the subscribe button for that too. Leave a like if you made it this far within the review. I would greatly appreciate it. And comment below, let me know your thoughts on this movie. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.